Hey, it's your buddy Caine.
Caine?
I'm going to let you know I saw your latest video. It was great.
Oh, well, thank
So
you.
great, in fact, I'm making you be in my video.
I would, but I'm a bit busy. I don't think I'll have time till after June 4th.
Good one. Okay, see you there.
Wait, no, I can't just...
Why did you even call me? I'm right here. Whatever. Let's just get this over with.
That's how a lot of people would, see you, because you're casual TADC fan. They would probably see your video and go, that guy's insane.
But you know what else we can do?
Oh no.
I was only gonna open bubble.
But there are a lot of people out there that will definitely look deeper into things, and they will go with more outlandish ideas.
But you didn't produce enough for me. So now you're going down with them. Poor Kinger. They got Kinger! They got Kinger!
There are some people that just believe that, I don't know, Jax is trans. It's like, it's a whole thing. There are so many theories I've seen, even game theorists that has made theories, and I looked at it and I said, that just feels completely wrong. I don't understand it. Maybe you do. It doesn't relate to me, because I don't get that what is it? I watched the video titled "The Amazing Digital Circus is Literally Hell" or something like that, and I watched the entire video, and then I took a step back, and then I rewatched it about 2 months ago with clearer eyes, and I looked at it and I went, okay, I see where you're coming from, but I don't think that that's what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for myself, the best way to explain it, have you played Hollow Knight before?
I've played more of Silk Song, honestly, but yes, I have played Hollow Knight.
Yeah, so this is like Hollow Knight spoilers for anybody that's watching, I guess. Imagine Hollow Knight existed, but the final boss, like the Hollow Knight, didn't exist yet. Like the last part of the game wasn't out yet, okay?
Right.
If you were like me, when I was playing Hollow Knight, I was like, this is a beautiful landscape, and it's terrifying the first time you play it, right? You're like jumping around just trying to get to a bench, and then you're trying your best to fight all these bosses, and you're like, oh, these are cool bugs here, and this is a cool design here, and like, oh, look, I can sit out and look out the lake with Coral, and that's just like a really cool feeling. And then you just kind of like go through it and enjoy it, right? Like for what it is. But you never think, at least I didn't, I never stopped to think like, oh, is this game deep? I'm just enjoying the game. I'm just like enjoying it for what it is. And then I got to the final boss, the Hollow Knight, and I'm fighting him like every other boss. And in the middle of the boss fight, all of a sudden he just starts stabbing himself. And I was like, what? What is going on? I was like, why is the final boss stabbing himself? Like, it makes no sense to me. And that moment like clicked with me, where I was like, I missed something. I did not think that deeply about this game. I really, really missed something. And so that happens, and then the ending happens, and all of a sudden you get put in chains and you're locked up and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, dude, like what in the world just happened? What the hell did I just experience? So what did I do at that point? I was like, I need to figure out what is going on. And I looked up like Hollow Knight ending explained or whatever, right? On YouTube. And then I found like a 2-hour-long Mossbag video about the full lore of Hollow Knight, and it explained everything from the moths and the ascension, all this stuff, like everything that the lore of Hollow Knight is. And I was like, dude, that makes so much sense. That's so crazy. And where I think the Amazing Digital Circus is we don't have the Hollow Knight yet. And what's going to happen in the true episode 9 that is going to be shown in the movie theaters is something to that effect. Something will wake people up where they'll see the story, and then something will happen. And I don't know exactly how Gooseworx is going to do it. I could tell you different plot points I believe are going to happen or whatever. But I'm over here right now because I'm like, dude, I read through all of the lore. I've been reading all of the scripts or the things, and there's like a higher beings. And what does that mean? Does that mean something? And I'm pretty sure there seems to be something in the White Palace, but I don't fully understand what's going on. And there's all these like other vessels maybe that are like, did you guys notice in the abyss there's something weird going on there? And I'm like trying to explain all of this stuff without like truly knowing what it all means. But then I'm like, dude, I think we're gonna get to the final boss, and the Hollow Knight is not a pure vessel. It's not a pure vessel. Dude, if the Hollow Knight's not a pure vessel, that means that we are going to take its place. That would be crazy. No way. Is that what they're going to do? Is that how it's going to end? And people are like, what the hell, dude? What are you talking about? No, it's just a little bug game, bro. Like it's just this cool boss fights and serene environments. What are you talking about? Hollow Knight and gonna pure vessels? Like that makes no sense. That makes no sense. And so then when people get an ending that they got, and I haven't seen the leak, I don't need to see the leak, because let's say in the same parallel, in the leak, somebody's like, yeah, so the leak says that the Hollow Knight is actually a chill dude, and like you actually fight him, and then turns out like it was just a misunderstanding, and you go and have lunch with him. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about?
What?
Like, that's what it sounds like to me. People will tell me the plot points, and then they're like, yeah, actually, it's just this happened and that happened. It was just like a misunderstanding, and then they go and have some lunch. And I'm like, no, that makes no sense. That makes no sense, given the fact that I know all of these other things. And then people are like, dude, if you would just watch the whole leak, you would know that you're wrong. And I'm like, I don't need to watch the whole leak. You told me the part that proved that it can't be true. Like, the Hollow Knight's not just a chill dude. Like, what do you mean? He's supposed to be a pure vessel. That's like the best way I can like explain what is happening and why I believe so strongly about this.
I like 80% get it. But the big question, do you think that the entire episode was animated by a different team? Or do you think that the ending was just what they faked? So that, you know, so that when it got leaked from only the Brazilian dub, which, by the way, I find kind of weird. I get it was a Brazilian hacker, but I still find it weird that it only got leaked in Brazilian.
Yeah, and it still hasn't been leaked anywhere else.
Team in Brazil for TADC stuff. So do you think it was just the ending, or do you think that they redid the entire episode just like with minor plot differences here and there?
Yeah, so I guess there's a few things to really think about. First, like to establish, is it made by Glitch? Yes, I believe it's made by Glitch. Is it like an actual ending? I think it is like a full episode that is an actual ending to the Amazing Digital Circus. And because it's not the ending we're going to get in the movies, it implies that there will be multiple endings, at least 2. And now to answer your question specifically is like, do I think it's just the final part of the thing or the full thing? It's the full thing. It's going to be, from the little that I know, I guess, from the leak, it's going to be something that like maybe has similar beats, like answers kind of similar questions, but answers them in a completely different way that like will completely change the episode. And in fact, like a ton of people have told me that the leak is a lot of times it just feels like a bunch of people like staring at each other. And that's like the majority of the leak. And it's like nothing is exciting, nothing crazy is happening or whatever. And like, I think that's intentional because that's mostly just meant to be a lot of like talking story point stuff. Basically, I think Glitch intentionally made sure there was nothing crazy in that movie, because if there was the crazy stuff that I know will happen in this movie, it would be plastered all over the internet. It would be like the images, you wouldn't be able to escape it because it's so visual that like there are pretty much no, if you don't want to see the spoilers or the leaks, there's not really much that can be spoiled other than someone telling you what happens, because there's nothing like visually exciting that's happening in the leaks, from my understanding at least. Is that true?
Well, okay. No spoilers from me. I don't know if you really care. I haven't seen all of it. I've only seen 10 minutes. I believe it was 58 minutes, close to an hour of episode 9, somewhere around there. And I decided to start watching it. I actually gave it to a friend. He watched the entire thing, and he gave it maybe an 8 out of 10. He said that the ending was kind of iffy. And I watched around 10 minutes. And the entire 10 minutes, I kid you not, slight spoiler, I guess, they were just fucking walking around. They weren't doing shit. I kid you not, I don't know what it was. It reminded me of TADC, and then all of a sudden there was like kind of Minecraft. I'm not even gonna lie. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Something about putting back together the circus or whatever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It was so weird. Everybody just split and there was nothing. It just felt so nothing. After those 10 minutes, I paused it and I just went, if this is the real episode, this is going to get bad reception because there's literally nothing in the plot that's going on right now. There's nothing. People are just staring.
And like, that's what I've heard as well, right? Like I didn't know your experience, but that's what I've heard, which is why you wouldn't be so excited to like, even if you, let's say you loved it, you wouldn't like go and just start posting a bunch of images online about it, right? But no. The real ending that I think is going to happen is going to have things like Ragatha potentially with like knives, and Gangle like trying to cope with that with the normal mask and finding out that the mask is like possessing her, and then she turns into a literal Gangle monster with like probably like ribbons that are out there. Bubble is going to be back, and he's going to come out of the void in multiple bubble forms, just like we saw in the episode 8 teaser, that teaser image that has like the void and then all of the bubbles coming out of the void. Bubble is the Bubble Boy virus and will reset and come back in a ton of bubbles and probably, I don't know, take control of the circus or something. And because he's a virus, we'll introduce all of these pop-ups and all of these virus things into the circus. And that's just like a small fragment of the visual things that I would expect to see. That I knew from the few plot points that like were spoiled for me, and from the fact that I wasn't hearing anyone talk about the cool parts that I know will happen in episode 9. That is why I was making that metaphor about like, compared to what I just said, what you explained to me sounds like, yeah, the Hollow Knight and the Knight had lunch together and it was just a misunderstanding, right? Like compared to like what actually happens in that game and compared to what I believe will happen in the true episode 9 movie, which is so much more visually engaging, so much more like interesting, and it will still connect to all of the emotional plot points that are important to like the show and the episode. I'm talking specifically about some of the like really big visual stuff that I would have expected to see, but there will be plenty of emotions and connection and disassociation, and as a huge theme, especially as it relates to Jax and I think Kinger as well. So all of those things are just like, it's so obviously clear to someone like myself who has studied the show and taken it seriously, that when people tell me if I just saw the 1 hour leak, then I would know. I don't have to, because I know that none of those things happened.
I personally think parts of the leak are real. Parts of it. Not all of it, parts of it though. It's very confusing to me because, you know, you go on like Twitter or you go on, I went on Instagram even, like Instagram Reels just to scroll for a little bit, and I've seen some leaks and everything. And it's nothing interesting. The most interesting thing I think I saw them was like standing in the void somehow next to an exit door, and then there was just Pomni and Jax and all of them. I don't know. There's nothing crazy, and for an indie animation studio that's finally getting something on the big screen, they can't mess it up. They can't, because if they do, that kind of just shows that indie animation from then on shouldn't be in the movie theaters. They have to land this, or else it's just gonna flop.
Yeah, I agree, and they know that. And not only do they know that, but they have a clear vision of what they want to do, and they've been setting it up in environmental storytelling the entire time, which is why I made the Hollow Knight reference. If we didn't know anything from the environmental storytelling, people would probably not know much about the Hollow Knight lore. They wouldn't have known there was even a secret boss and all that kind of stuff, right? Like a true final boss. It took all of the people that were taking the environment seriously and connecting all of these clues. That is when people actually started taking it seriously.
What are you gonna do when the fan base dies down? I'm talking like, you know, fan projects, comic dubs, the whole, you know, fan base just kind of goes dormant and your views dwindle.
For myself, I just do what I like doing. And if people like that, then great. So whether it's more theories or whether it's character analysis, I started on TikTok making content for Epic the Musical. And then I found TADC and I fell in love with it. So I started making content for that. My plan is to kind of make content that just based off of like things that I really love. I love just diving really deep into something, like getting super, super invested in something. And when I am really invested in something, it's like all I think about. And so if whenever there's less hype around TADC and I am like not as interested in making TADC stuff, there will probably be 30 plus videos that I would still want to make, but I just would maybe move on to something else for a little bit. And so there's like, in the same vein with Epic the Musical, I made a bunch of short form videos, but then I wanted to make long form videos for it. And then I got really sucked into TADC. And so like I want to make Epic the Musical long form videos talking about like the different motifs and things like that really interest me in Epic. But honestly, I think when people ask me about like, what are you going to do after TADC is over? I'm like, that's when it just begins, baby. Like I'm telling you right now, one, the leaks aren't real. I mean, they're real and we can talk about the nuance if you want, but
we're going to talk about it.
But two,
we're going to get to it.
People don't understand how insanely in-depth the show is, and they're going to see it. I know people don't believe it. They're going to see it. And I don't know how to explain it any other way other than to say I've tried my best so far. And once the show unravels, people will see it. And that's when they'll start to get like really, really crazy invested in it. Just like I am. Like everything that I've been doing in the past 6 months, people will get insanely obsessed with. and I just have to wait until people see it, pretty much. So like, it's not going to die down anytime soon. I can tell you that much. People think it
Is
will,
most of
but
your
it's
fan base trolls?
or
Like,
most of my fan
are
base trolls.
do they not like are your fans trolls? But I mean, like, are most of your fan base or in like your chats just kind of like, oh, this is just the TADC rage guy?
No, no, I don't think so.
No,
I think the people
I
that are
think
in
I
my
heard you talk
chat,
about that. I don't know.
I think the people that are in my chat that like see the logic in what I'm saying are very excited and very energized about the things that they're learning about the Amazing Digital Circus, because it adds a ton of depth when you realize how much depth the show has. The people in the chat are super excited and energized every time they're there. Anybody that brings negative energy, we actually don't even allow it. Negative energy is just not great. We just shut it down. So
Nah, man. Nah. I
that's
mean,
it.
they want more. I was reading the chat while watching the video. They want like theory videos, they want a whole bunch of other stuff from you. And I mean, me included, honestly, because I mean, you're like me, but more intense because I go deep into something, but I don't go insanely deep into it because if I do, then people start freaking out. So,
And that's the thing too, is I think it does take someone like me to keep going, because I have that tenacity or resilience because I'm older. So like, I'm 34 years old. When I was younger, it took me like a lot of time to gain the confidence that I have today. And I would say that I didn't fully feel it until maybe like the last 2 or 3 years. Before then, I wasn't super sure. I was confident in myself, but I wasn't really sure about everything that I was doing. And people would tell me, no, don't do that, or bro, stop that, or do this, or whatever it is. Maybe when I'm younger, or a lot of the other people out there that start seeing and making these connections, like you said, like let's say you started diving deep into it and you started noticing these connections and you started noticing this connected to that, and then this was really cool and interesting, and then people start telling you, dude, that's nothing, you're being so crazy, you're insane, take your meds, schizo, whatever they say all that stuff to me. And then you start doubting yourself. You're like, oh geez, no, I don't want people to hate me. Then people just back off and they stop looking into it. But me, you can say whatever you want. I know that this is there and I see it. And the more that I learn, the crazier it gets. I was being roasted for analyzing the color yellow because people were like, oh, yellow doesn't have meaning, bro. And I was like, okay, but I'm pretty sure it does. And then the more I looked into the color stuff, now all of a sudden I'm at points where I'm like shifting the hues as it relates to the lightness and saturation, and specifically removing the color red and then adding the color blue. And like, there's crazy stuff that I haven't even talked about yet. I haven't talked about because I know people, it's like, one, I don't even fully get it. I don't really understand everything that I'm doing, but I know it's there. And the more I learn, the crazier I realize this is and how crazy deep it is. And people just like kind of stopped looking at some point. And like, I know I sound insane right now when I say that, but in a week, people are going to start to see all this stuff. And I'm just like waiting for it at this point. That's where I'm at.
guys, I think he's actually going insane. No, I'm kidding. But
You can say what you want. You'll see the truth soon enough. The people that have been saying it's not deep have been winning the entire time. They're not going to win anymore. There's not going to be that same, they're going to see it with their eyes. And like the new wave of people that are like, you know what? It maybe is that deep, will start pouring in or will start opening up their minds to it. And then when they look, they're going to see that like even the stuff I have talked about that you all think is insane is surface level. There's so much stuff that is way deeper, like 5 layers deeper, that I can't even begin to understand how to explain. I just know it's there. And so smarter people than me will start to realize that, and they'll start to see all of the imagery. And I think that because of the influences of Stanley Parable, of Undertale, of Hollow Knight, even Hollow Knight is a huge influence actually. And that's funny because that also has multiple endings and a true ending. I think there will be a true ending to the Amazing Digital Circus that will require the fandom to decode the complex web and network of codes and ciphers that are throughout the Amazing Digital Circus, which I know I sound insane while I'm saying this right now. But again, in 1 week, when you've realized I'm right, people are going to watch this back and go, wait, he knew. And I'm like, yeah, I did, because I've seen it and I've experienced it. And now I need help. Now I need your help. And that's why I say it'll begin after the episode 9 finale comes out, because I think we will have to find via an ARG the true ending. And if we don't, then it'll just exist out there forever. I think there will be a true ending somewhere.
I know it's not an inspiration to Goose or anything like that, but I think it'll be something reminiscent of Gravity Falls, maybe. A while back, there was a thing called the Book of Bill that came out, spawned a whole nother ARG in the fandom just because of that one book. Had multiple videos in it and a bunch of other cool stuff. And that's awesome. That's really cool. But whenever you end something, you can't just say, okay, that's the ending, that's it, have fun. Some people do that. Some places, some movies, some TV shows, they do that. The good ones don't. When TV shows end themselves just completely, whether it be due to cancellation or just final seasons, it always sucks. I don't care if it's like Murder Drones, where you issue a graphic novel that's basically just, I think, a remake. I actually haven't seen the show, but I don't care if it's like that or if it's just, more merch or a book or whatever it is. A good show doesn't end for some good years, and after those years, they'll come up with something to bring the fandom back to life, because a fandom can't just die. If it dies, then you kind of just made the show for no reason other than popularity at the time and maybe money.
I think that there's so much depth to the Amazing Digital Circus that people will be finding things that Gooseworx has hidden intentionally in the show for years to come without anything else that needs to come from it. I'll just say random stuff that I know is a connection and I don't know what it means. And I probably never will. Somebody else will have to figure it out. Zooble is very deeply tied to the concept of copper. And that's all of the things that Jax did to Zooble, including the volcano and the slug and everything, is related to the concept of copper. That's all I know. And I know that sounds crazy, right? Like, this is more of the like deeper level stuff that I know exists and I know is intentional, but I don't get it. I don't think I'll ever get it. And so there will be things that people will find that like somebody 10 years later will be like, whoa, did we realize this about Zooble? And like, actually the reason why Zooble's connected to copper is because of this particular, all this stuff. And then we're going to be like, dude, that's crazy. I don't think that they need to do anything new for this, but also I think that the show will live on in a different way. You know how like Fortnite is able to exist forever because it like brings in every single fandom into itself?
Oh, shit. Yes, and don't ever fucking bring up Fortnite on my channel ever again, you stupid boy.
I
Don't
have
ever
no
bring it
idea
up
why, but we're talking about it.
again.
So the thing is that Fortnite was revolutionary for that reason. Whatever you feel about it, I don't know what you feel about it, but you have to admit that it changed the culture, right? The Amazing Digital Circus is going to do the same thing, but backwards. And you've already seen it. I've never seen Murder Drones. People that have seen Murder Drones have noticed a ton of connections between the Amazing Digital Circus and Murder Drones. It's not an accident. That's intentional. They're in the same universe. And then Gaslight District, I think, only has a pilot, but I've heard the same thing from people that have seen that. And then you would think, oh, okay, so they're making a glitch verse or something, right? No, they're not. It's not just glitch. People noticed there were voice actors that were in the Poppy Playtime, the new chapter that came out or something, right? And some kind of character that looks like Pomni. That's not an accident. I believe Hazbin Hotel is very connected to the Amazing Digital Circus. Deltarune is and will be very connected to the Amazing Digital Circus. And just how Fortnite like brought all of the fandoms in, I think the Amazing Digital Circus is going to confirm Multiverses in episode 9, and it's going to show how like everything explodes outwards from the circus. And there are already collaborations that are happening right now between all of these people that I'm saying that you can tell. And if you like just stop to like think about it for a few seconds and you're like, oh, wow, there's all these voice actors and all these people and all these characters that look the same, or all of these connections that are made. That's on purpose. That's on purpose. And I think even what I said are just the ones that I have like perceived. And I'm positive there's way more out there that I don't know about. And people are going to start realizing it. And so in that sense, the Amazing Digital Circus brand will live forever. I think somehow Glitch has created some way for people to incorporate the characters of the Amazing Digital Circus into their own media. And so it's basically canon. All of it becomes canon through whatever happens at the end of episode 9. I know this sounds crazy. It's going to happen. And I know it didn't happen in the leaks, or else I would have heard about it, right? Like, I don't need to know the leaks to know that that didn't happen, which again is why I'm so confident that that those leaks are not a true ending.
I have a few points here that I want to bring up. Some of it is just honestly from Gooseworx herself. Now, Gooseworx is a liar. She's confirmed this. She's just kind of a liar. She lies for fun, all that kind of stuff. But with that being said, a lot of the stuff that she says is true. When somebody asks, is Bubble actually gone? Because there was a lot of debate when Caine was deleted that Bubble was actually gone. She said, Bubble is a part of Caine. Bubble is gone. I don't know what you exactly think about what she said, but if he was a virus, I feel like he would have also popped up differently in the terminal. When popping up in the terminal, it was bubblechef.core. That was, I believe, mainly just a costume that they were doing or something for the pilot episode. But he has a core, and he's not seen as a threat in the terminal, and he's also been said by Goose that he's gone. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I guess trying to answer stuff in order. The first thing, Gooseworx, if she says she lies for fun, okay, that is, maybe she does. It's not really important, I think, to what she says online. Maybe that was a lie for fun, right? Like, and she's actually very
Maybe.
truthful. Like, who
Yeah,
knows?
it's
The
very
thing is,
possible.
I will say, as far as Gooseworx tweets go, I think people misinterpret what Gooseworx is saying a lot of times and impose their own beliefs on what Gooseworx is saying. As a clear example, oh, the ending of the Amazing Digital Circus is to find meaning in a stagnant life. And they're like, that is the true message of the circus. And that's not. It's never what Gooseworx said. She never said that. If you look at the verbiage of that tweet specifically, the person asks, what is one message that you want to be taken away from the Amazing Digital Circus? She responds, there's meaning to be found in a stagnant life. That is one message to take away from the circus. It is not the main message. It is not the only message. And if you look at the timing of those tweets, that was like 1 month before episode 3 came out, which episode 3's main message was to find meaning in a stagnant life. And so people are like not considering that when they look at Gooseworx tweets. They're not taking all of those contexts into account, which is why the fandom comes up with faulty reasonings and then starts believing it. And so Gooseworx might say something. Here's like an example. I don't know how this is going to play out for the record, but because this is still confusing in my mind. But when people say like, hey, Gooseworx, are they all human? Like, are they all human? And she says, yes, all of them are human. If we find out that Jax is an AI, if we find out that Jax is an AI, okay, then you would say Gooseworx lied. Wow, Gooseworx is a liar. Well, first off, imagine you're the creator of a show where one of the big plot reveals is that Jax would be an AI. What are you going to say 3 years before that? When people say, are they all human? Are they all human? Are they all human? You like, what did you expect her to say? No, actually, Jax is an AI and everyone else is a human. But that's a spoiler. So like, don't, So it's like, what is she supposed to say? First off, of course, she's going to say the show is saying they're human. Everything about the show is setting up the premise that they're human. So yeah, I'm going to say they're human. So like, that's not even lying for fun. That's just like, just stop asking me, right? Like, I hope anyone can understand that if you get asked, are they a human a million times? And until you answer it, they will never stop asking you. Then you're going to say at some point, yeah, they're a human, right? So that's like the first thing. But then also the second thing is like, there could be some weird thing. She might not have even lied about that. Because I can see some weird reality where like AI is the owner of this world and like Caine created humans. And so it's like the opposite where like Caine is the creator and he created humans through organic life, which then every one of them in the circus are humans. I don't know if that's going to happen. And in fact, I think that's probably not going to happen. But it's like an example of something that could happen that's within the realm of possibilities of the Amazing Digital Circus, which I know doesn't sound like it's in the realm of possibilities for anybody that hasn't taken the show as seriously as I have. So like, I'm sure to you that sounded like an insane statement to say, which is fine. I understand that. But just to be super clear about like what Gooseworx tweets mean, like even if she did lie, so what? Like stop bothering her about it. And two, I don't think she necessarily has to lie. She just has to make vague statements that people misinterpret on their own and then have some belief. So with all of that being said, right? Going to your actual question of what about Bubble? I don't think she lied about any of that. And I don't think she's had to. Did Bubble disappear with Caine? Is Bubble a part of Caine and therefore disappeared with Caine? Yes. As we've seen, Bubble is potentially the blue AI who is a part of Caine. And so when Caine goes away, Bubble is gone. But if Bubble truly is the Bubble Boy virus, then we have seen that the Bubble Boy virus only resets and respawns on deletion. That's when it really comes into play. So that's why I believe Bubble will come back in full force. So Gooseworx tweets of like Bubble was deleted with Caine is not a lie. Bubble was deleted with Caine, but Bubble is a virus. Right. And will come back and invoke pop-ups and pop-ups and pop-ups. And I don't know if it'll literally be pop-ups. I think it will be literal pop-ups, by the way. I think that we will see like Internet Explorer pop-ups on the screen. The cast will be like forced into them through different weird, like crazy adventures, which is again, going to be way cooler visually than anything that exists today. That's kind of like the totality of that answer is she doesn't even have to lie. I don't think she lied. People just interpret what they want to hear because they don't really understand the show.
Everything in Digital Circus is very meticulously said. Every single line, everything. I know that a lot of people out there will call me crazy. I know that there's probably another theory that fits way better. But in my opinion, one of the main theories I have is that Kinger, when he says the line in episode 8, Caine, as we called him, I can't remember what we originally called him. I believe that the C in his name originally did not stand for Caine. I believe it stood for captivity.
Interesting.
Not only was not he wasn't only just kept in captivity, but he was the one keeping others in captivity. So
Yeah, I mean, sure, that fits Caine's MO. I don't even know that that necessarily has to be like a theory. Do you have any expansion on what that might mean? Or you just feel like the sea is captivity and that kind of explains who Caine is, both a captive and a captor?
well, well, yes, Caine is a captive and a captor, but I know that these aren't exactly like foolproof things. But he's a captor of his own mind. He literally envisions himself being one basically with the humans, and he wants to get to know them, therefore keeping them in captivity. Probably not because he wants to exactly, but because they can't, and also he can't escape. He's not only mentally in captivity, but he's also physically in captivity, as in like the digital circus. It's like a whole messy can of worms, but he was put in captivity originally when his AI wasn't perfect, broke out, and I believe that they probably originally called him the captive AI or captivity or something like that, and then they changed it to Caine, probably due to CNA or because, Cain and Abel, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So you think that his like original name was Captivity or something like that?
Maybe capped, because capped is short for captivity, but also captain, as
Mm-hmm.
in like the runner of the ship. Like he runs the
Oh,
entire
yeah. See, that's a
ship.
cool name. That theory is as good as any of mine. I don't know anything that could refute a theory like that. I will say my personal belief is that I think Caine's original name might have been Adam, or even something like Joshua, or even I don't think Goose would do this, but like Jesus could literally be the name. I don't think she would do that, which is why I kind of settled more on Adam. And again, the reason why I believe that, did you know that the word is only used once in the entire show? WORD is only used once
Really?
in the entire show. Go look at the transcripts. When Caine is doing his like fake therapy session with Zooble,
Yeah.
he's drawing the bee, right? After, when he's talking with Zooble again, and Zooble tells him exactly why they don't like their body and all this stuff, Caine says, "Oh, I figured that out." And then after he says,
"I'm gonna show you some ink blots, and you're gonna say the first word that comes to your mind."
He turns it around and it's a picture of himself. It's an ink blot of himself. And it is the only time the word is used. And anybody that knows biblical imagery knows that the word was first. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God, I think is like one of the translations. And then when you think of episode 8 and you think of the red dot that spawned out of nowhere, you can imagine the word spawning out of nowhere, who is the first one to be there, who is I am who I am. And all of this stuff is associated with Caine. But if we are thinking that the creator is Kinger, then Caine would be the first son, maybe, right? The first word in the Old Testament is Jehovah. Assuming that Gooseworx isn't going to call Caine Jehovah, then the thing that would make the most sense after that would be Adam. And so then you have a creation story, and you have Adam, who was the first to be created. That's my logic when I go and do all of this stuff. I mean, that's part of the logic. There's more stuff there, given that like he is an artificial AI that was meant to create. And so Adam was the creator, technically, of the populator of all the humans, right? With Eve, which then starts to make you wonder the true name of the second AI. These are like symbolisms that exist, and there might be a deeper meaning why word is not used any other time in the script. But I know at the very least, when Caine says the first word and shows a picture of himself, that is symbolism. That is real biblical symbolism, implying how Caine sees himself, or what Caine is.
It's pretty interesting that you say that, because I'm going to take a book out of film theory here real quick. Within the biblical symbolism in Digital Circus, it's funny because in your last video, you mentioned some of this, but then you also mentioned that Pomni was originally from just the circus.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
There's something interesting about Pomni there.
It's really interesting that you say that, because in the Bible, of course, it's, Jesus comes down and it's, I came from my God, not the God that you're worshiping. It's a higher power God. And in the end of the pilot episode, they're having a thing like the Last Supper, and Pomni's right in the middle where Jesus is supposed to be standing. Now, if she was just from the Digital Circus, that would make a lot more sense now, because she's where Jesus stood. She's not from the human world. She's not of the human world. She is from the Digital Circus.
And in the Digital Circus space, Caine is referred to as God many times.
Yeah.
So
many times.
So if Pomni is a creation of the circus, and the circus is a creation of Caine, and Caine is the god of that world, I think that's an interesting parallel. I will say one small thing that I believe is I don't think that Caine is like the ultimate ringmaster of the circus. I think there is somebody more hidden behind the scenes that is pulling the strings. Caine is just one part of what the circus is, and he believes himself to be so important. But there are other forces at play that are actually the ones in true power of the circus, I think.
Oh man, episode 9 is going to end and it's going to be revealed that the highest power god was Jack Black.
Wait, wasn't
What?
there a joke?
I
Wasn't
mean-
there a joke about Jack Black playing a character? Who didn't Gooseworx make a tweet?
He was in a commercial.
What?
Remember when the pilot dropped and they sent you to wackywatch.com? There was a infomercial for the Wacky Watch, and for a split second when it said, "This is me, Caine," or whatever the hell, it had Caine, and then for a split second it flashed to Jack Black, and then it flashed off. So, I
Might be
mean,
onto something.
I'm just saying,
Oh, 'cause
Jack
it was like
Black,
the sun or something? Anyway.
Jack
You might
Black
be onto something.
was in a Digital Circus ad. Whether or not that was just a joke, or whether or not it was, I mean, Caine's voice actor kind of looks like Jack Black. It could have been a joke, but I highly doubt it. They don't really do jokes like that. I really highly doubt it.
Dude, you might be a goat theorist. You might be a goat theorist. Because I will tell you right now, all of the commercials are episode 9 spoilers. All of them. All of the merch commercials. All of the like just info, everything that you mentioned, those are all episode 9 related, whether you've known it or not.
Oh yeah.
I know I said like I have tenacity and confidence in myself. That's one thing. But I do think there is also this like interesting, like I think Gooseworx is insane. Not in the same way other people think she's insane, but like insane, like not a human, like is making crazy connections that I cannot explain nor understand. Like just insane depth. And I think it takes someone like me who is also like a little bit insane and is willing to like I just make these eyes and these are natural eyes and people are like, dude, those are insane eyes. Like like I think it takes someone like that to like really dig in and really start looking deeper. So yeah, I think it takes a little bit of insanity to like be someone that is able to really decode and decipher some of these things.
Oh, definitely. It was very telling that she made the Digital Circus, like the show, concepts and all, very quickly. She just kind of threw stuff at the wall, hoping that it would work, and then she kind of worked from there.
That's a
I
total
think that's
lie, by the way.
exactly-
You want to talk about Gooseworx being a
Is
liar?
it?
That's a lie. That is a
That's a
huge
lie?
lie. That is the biggest lie she's ever told. The thing is like, let me like be charitable here. It's possible that Gooseworx did put everything in the Amazing Digital Circus together in 2 to 3 weeks. Okay? Like I believe that. I can believe that. But you will notice that her life's work is poured into the show. If you compare it to Little Runmo, if you compare it to like Elaine Gets Adopted, if you compare it to anything else, I haven't even seen all of them. And I'm positive that people will find all of those connections, especially after this is done. There's another theorist that I love, Incompetent Perfectionist. Shout out to my boy, IP, that makes really good theory videos. And he has one recently about how the Amazing Digital Circus is just Little Runmo retold. And I'm like, you know what? It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It wouldn't make sense to people that haven't thought deeply about the show. They would be like, what? What are you talking about? And people have noticed Little Runmo references in the show. Like when Kinger says to Zooble, did you experience a game show in there? That is both a Little Runmo reference and I believe going to be plot relevant in episode 9. It's going to be very plot relevant. It's an important piece of the plot. And when we go back and we rewatch it, people will go, oh, dude, he like meant that. Like he knew about that. And so I think this is the convergence of all of her life's work. So while she may have put it together in 2 to 3 weeks, she has been thinking about this all her life. She's been like waiting for a moment to tell this story. And I truly believe that. So that is where if she's a liar in anything, it's like that she said, oh yeah, I just threw it together in 2 to 3 weeks and I didn't really think about it.
I think mainly the concepts, but I don't think the entire show, obviously, and not like the plots and everything. But
Dude, you're going to see. You can believe what you want, but I'm telling you that you don't even know how deep the show is. And Glitch, what the hell? Glitch agreed to this, okay? Whenever you guys realize how insanely deep the show is, Glitch agreed to this. They are more insane than Gooseworx, I think. I don't know how they have done this and how they have had all of the patience. You're going to see that this has been a 3-year-long operation that is crawled across so many things that you don't even understand yet, that I don't even understand yet. And when it becomes revealed, people are going to go, how the hell did they do this? How the hell did they have the patience to do this? I know that sounds crazy right now, but we don't have to wait very long for me to be either proven as a truly insane person or as someone that knows, because I know.
I said, I hope you're right, but I did post a comment saying, if you're wrong, you got to do a whole thing on your own ending on TADC and you got to make a video about it. That's what I did. I
Yeah,
posted
sure.
that comment.
I'll do that. Actually,
Yeah.
I think there are some endings that I could make that I don't think will happen. Like what I just said about the idea of Caine, of like the world being AI and imagining that AI is creating humans, and Caine is like a scientist in the AI world creating humans for the first time. And like it started by cellular biology stuff. I don't know that that's going to happen. I don't think it will. But that's like a really interesting concept in my mind, because imagine an AI creating humans and then trying to keep them happy and trying to understand them. But humans have emotional needs. Caine is like this god of this world that has never needed to understand emotions. And now all of a sudden these humans that he created are pissed off, and he created them. And he's like, what? Like, I created you and I'm trying to help you guys, but you just won't listen, you know? So,
Well, yeah. I mean, plus, humans have something that AI can never have, which is free will, and also just, sinner's choice, which is just, they can have the choice to do whatever they want. AI is bound by its code.
actually, that's a really interesting counter concept, because, the worry that we humans have about building AI intelligence is that they will get so much smarter than us that like they will take over us, right? And so we're like, dude, AI being smarter than us and turning us into pets, like that sounds terrifying. Why would we do that to ourselves, right? Now imagine if
they already did.
Yeah, I don't know, but like now imagine in this world that this AU that we're creating right now, that like AI rule the world and they create humans, and the smarter and more emotional that humans get, they realize that like humans have this indomitable spirit, this drive and passion that seems to go beyond their own code and or their own organic life. And so now in the AI world, they're all arguing about the morality of bringing humans to the world. They're like, dude, we got to stop the human project. Like imagine Caine is this scientist trying to bring humans and is like, dude, these humans are so cool. And then the real world is all AI, and they're like, they are too irrational. They don't think straight. They're going to ruin our entire society. And that would be a really interesting concept, I think, I guess it's kind of like Gurren Lagann. That's what like my favorite anime.
Viewers, just saying. Hey, I'm just saying, if he's wrong, I'll make this into a fan AU just because sounds sick as hell.
Dude, doesn't it though?
Great.
Doesn't it? I'm like, dude, that's like a really crazy concept to imagine, not the human side of things, but the AI side of things. Although I don't know, in a human world, I don't know how that would be accepted today, because today the idea of having sympathy for AI, because that's what you would have to do. You would have to create a show that is like creating sympathy for AI, which, to be honest, I think Digital Circus is. So like maybe I'm not even that far off. Maybe this is literally like what the show is going to do. But if not, then it's a cool AU. And yeah, I don't know. Like the idea is really interesting. But I think even the Amazing Digital Circus is a very deep and complex narrative on modern day AI and future AI going forward. There's a lot of deep stuff there.
Like you said, all of the merch commercials are just leaks for episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Caine's Requiem. I can't speak. Whatever. It's not, in my opinion, it's not just a leak for episode 9, but it's saying a lot more, because this was before the leaks and everything. But like you said, if they knew that the leaks were inevitable to happen, really go back, because I've been really listening to the song on repeat, loop by loop by loop. I probably listened to it about 200 times by now while working on the intro animation. You really think about the main chorus of the line. Click that sketchy hyperlink. We promise you it's real.
That's what I'm saying,
We got
dude.
nothing to hide. We just want to come inside.
And pop up. I'm
just saying. I mean, I listened to it about 200 times, and I really thought about it, and I was like, if you think about it, people are really just clicking a bunch of sketchy hyperlinks right now with all the leaks and everything. They're not, they have nothing to hide, right? It's all leaks. They don't have anything to hide. Why would they fake it? Too much money goes into that kind of stuff. But Glitch alone, I know a lot of it went back into episodes and stuff, but they made a lot of money off of the pilot alone. And if they wanted to, they could have hired not only their more like Brazilian team, but they could have hired just fans in general. I don't know if it's exactly a coincidence that the guy who did the fan animation for Caine's Requiem got hired by Glitch
as a marketing 3D generalist,
3D generalist.
Interesting. Multi Games TV, the GOAT, dude, the GOAT. We love Multi Games TV around here.
And I'm just saying, I mean, he announced it, but I don't think he announced it the day of. I'm pretty sure maybe like 5 days after he posted Caine's Requiem, before the leaks and everything, I'm pretty sure Glitch reached out to him and was like, hey, you want to help us with something? Look, I mean, he was quiet for a long time.
So, okay. This is a sensitive topic, and I'm trying to be careful with what I'm saying. I believe when everything's all said and done, which will be soon, people will realize that one of the main goals of this show that they have been setting up for 3 years is to prove that people will always believe what is in front of them and what looks real. The things that look real, such as this leak, and they will chase the fake leak to the ends of the earth and justify it as real because, like, why would they spend an hour on this? Why would they do this? That's crazy. Don't you know how much it costs and blah, 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 all this stuff? Because it feels real. But when they watch it, a lot of people are like, that was unfulfilling. That wasn't visually good. That wasn't visually. So, like, their head tells them this is real because logically it's the only thing that makes sense. But their heart tells them something's off. But because people use their head more than their hearts, they believe, well, it has to be real. And this guy, Danny North, he's crazy. He's crazy. There's no way. What are you talking about? But I use my heart, okay? And so I know that there are a lot of animations out there that are not official glitch animations. That are the true spoilers. Those are the real leaks. That's all I'll say right now. People will realize it. There are a lot of things. Glitch official are the commercials, but there's a lot of things out there that a lot of people know and that are like, oh, that would be a cool AU. Go back and watch them. They're not going to be AUs. They're going to be confirmed. And this is part of the 3-year-long crazy web of things that Glitch have been doing for so long. And when people start to understand Glitch's animation fingerprint, as I call it, you're going to see that a lot of these fans have been using Glitch's signature animation fingerprint for a while. And I'm not going to imply anything about the fan. I don't know what that means about them. All of these fan animations that people are seeing that look innocent, they're all episode 9, like the true spoilers. It's part of this message that I think Glitch is going to prove, that people are so obsessed with what they think is real that they'll see something else that is real and believe it's not real. Just saying.
I mean, I think you're right. But I also want to say something to all the people that think it's way too much money to spend on a fake, whether it be a fake ending or an entire fake episode. I don't care. Listen, not only do they have, a whole nother studio in Brazil, but also, even if they didn't get that team specifically in Brazil to do their animating, you got to think about this. There are hundreds, thousands actually, of talented fan animators that are almost studio level with Glitch and that are huge TADC fans. I'm talking huge. You reach out to a couple of those fans, you reach out to about 100 or two, and you ask them, hey, you want to be a part of this so that we can make sure that the actual episode doesn't get leaked? Obviously, 99% of them are going to say, absolutely, I would love to work on this. So if you don't think that it was done by the Brazilian team because it was too much money, okay, fine. Fans do it for free. Go online, look up mods, look up fan comics, look up literally anything. People do this for free. They don't do stuff just because they get paid. They do it for, I guess, as some people would say, they do it for the love of the game. They do it. They do it just because they love it. And so there's so many people out there that I've talked to, and they're like, well, that's way too much to be spending on something like that. And it's just, you don't have to. And even if they did, it's better than the entire movie fully actually getting leaked.
Yeah, and I'm positive that they did. If I had to make any guesses, I don't believe Glitch as a company would do anything other than pay fans or whoever they got, some studio or some contracting company or whatever it is. I think that they would pay them fair wages because they care a lot about animation. They care a lot about animators. They care a lot about people. I think they have spent the money and they are banking on the fact that it will pay in dividends. And it already has, I think. They make a lot of their money on merch. The only thing that's stopping me from buying more merch is that it hurts my wallet really bad every time I do it because I can't stop myself from putting like 50 things in my cart. You know what I mean? And so...
Oh, yeah, no, we didn't even talk about the merch money. That thing is... Oh, those are crazy. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
But...
Dude. Do you want to do something crazy? I've been meaning to open up the merch.
Yeah.
Should we open one of them up? I think there's stuff inside. I think there's things inside.
Should we open up the merch? I'm gonna say yes.
Here's Bubble. The thing is that Bubble might need to be, like, different parts of Bubble might need to be opened up. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there might be something. I don't think there would be something in Bubble's tongue. There's a Bubble.
I mean, I don't exactly know what you think is in the plush, but
we're gonna find out.
It is really cool.
Even if it's nothing, then that'll give me information. The thing is okay, here's let me tell you my theory about Bubble before we open up Bubble, because I don't fully know what we're gonna find in Bubble, but I do think there's a chance. My main theory for Bubble, first off, Bubble's kind of like a snake and like has this like eats is like consume stuff, right? Bubble, I think, represents the idea or the concept of orbs in the circus, which we've seen orbs in Caine's office as adventures, right? And if you
Right.
look at Caine's office really closely and you look at the orbs, you'll notice that they look like bubbles. Each one of them makes a shape that looks like a bubble. I don't know if you've seen
Oh, that's
that.
very much intentional. Yeah,
It's
no, that's
super
very much
intentional. And Bubble also has an interesting connection to, I believe, Abel and to Kinger. The Abel connection, the simplest one I can say. Did you notice that we didn't see Bubble in the episode 7 scene at the very end in front of the computer? Bubble
Yeah,
is
Bubble's
not
not there.
there. He's not there. And he comes in after when Abel gets snapped. Abel gets snapped, and rather than Caine pulling Bubble out of his hat like we always see him, he just floats in from the side of the screen. I don't think we've ever seen Bubble float in before. So like Abel got
Except
snapped.
for no, he did fly it. He floated in.
Oh, does
I
he?
think it was episode 3, I believe. No, episode 3 when Caine's explaining. Wait, no, it wasn't episode 3. It was episode. It was one of the episodes. I can't quite remember where he was explaining something. Bubble flies in slightly, and he says something completely obnoxious. I can't quite remember.
Oh, well, I think of the pilot when he flies out of Caine's hat and licks up the oil spill. I can think of that when he's flying. There might be another time, and if there is, I want to know it because it's probably relevant. Because what I'm trying to claim is that Bubble has this weird relationship with Abel, where Abel and Bubble are never shown on screen at the same time, even though they're shown on screen in the same scene. Thought. The Kinger one, when Kinger is doing the terminal scene, there is a time where you can look at Kinger's eye, and if you look at Kinger's eye, it looks like a picture of Bubble is reflecting in his eye.
I think that there was a fake thing also saying that Bubble was talking during that scene, saying, delete that motherfucker. Delete him.
That is Bubble in the terminal saying that. It is Bubble. I can confirm that.
See, I went back through that episode. I looked everywhere. I could not find it. I could not find it. I don't know why.
It's in the terminal and it is hidden. You can barely see the name. And so people thought it said Bubble because in the terminal it does say delete that motherfucker. Bubble's name is very hidden. People couldn't confirm whether or not it was Bubble. But the Glitch animators released the full terminal scene. They released the entire terminal without all of the other stuff around it. And it does show that that actor in the terminal is Bubble saying delete that MFR. Which then you might say, well, if Bubble is a part of Caine, why would Bubble want to delete himself? And there could be a reason why, as related to the Bubble Boy virus, where Bubble knows that once Caine is gone, then he can come into power, right? So like he wants Caine to be deleted.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I think Bubble probably is. I think Bubble is Abel, but who is Abel is the real question because I think... I think Bubble, okay, I'm going to make all these connections. These are going to sound insane. I get it. I know this sounds insane.
All right, put on your tinfoil hat.
Put on your tinfoil hats.
You're going to be a mannequin with a tinfoil hat on.
Put on, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, make me Abel, make me Bubble. Let's go. I believe there is a connection to all of these characters, okay? And I don't know what it is exactly. I'm not necessarily saying that they are all the same character. They might be versions of the same characters in different timelines. Abstraction is an interesting concept that allows them to adopt their memories and maybe their forks of, I don't know, okay? But these characters are all connected. Bubble, Abel, Kinger, Queenie, Zooble, and Scratch, which also then connects Jax. They are all connected, and they might all be Bubble in some way.
It's insane as hell.
I can explain it, but it would take a long time to explain it. I can definitely explain it, but we would be here for another 2 hours just to like get the connection between Bubble and Kinger. Okay, so like
and you don't have that time.
But all of those characters are connected, and okay. So I didn't finish what I was going to say about Bubble before we open up the bubble.
Right.
Is the main connection that the main point I wanted to make is that Bubble is seen as an orb, as like the thing that contains everything inside of it. If you look closely at episode 2, when they're flying out into the void of that world, right? Did you realize that like the void of episode 2 is the same thing as like the void in the circus with all the teapots, right? When they're flying past all the teapots. You can make out that like Bubble, you can make out Bubble's face in the background of there too, or as well. And so, dude, I wonder if we can make, dude. What I'm trying to say is that the circus, I believe, is a bubble. I think it is an orb. I think it is all encompassed in one thing. It's not any different than any of the other adventures. It's not a special place. It is one of the evolutions of these orbs, and there's some weird time stuff happening. There's some crazy time stuff where we are experiencing time not like humans do. Basically, they are all inside of a big bubble, and this is how it's going to set up the premise of multiverses that expand out to all the other fandoms. Is that those orbs are just one of many orbs throughout time, and those characters are repeated, they're copied and cloned throughout all of this time. Their memories are reused, they're forks of whatever blah 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 this stuff is. So this is why like Pomni, I think, belongs to the circus or came from the circus. But Pomni has a very interesting and deep relationship with Caine and Jax that she doesn't understand, and that we don't really understand, and that we will understand in episode 9. So like I'm saying this because it's coming up soon and I don't really have to explain it, but we will see there's some interesting relationship, some like deep relationship that Pomni's subconscious invokes that like she doesn't get and that we don't get. She is a part of something bigger, but she herself is existing in the circus, like came from this creation, is not like necessarily a human that put on a headset. I don't think anyone put on a headset, to be honest, which I know also is a crazy thing to say. I think they all pop into the world as if it was a game, as if a developer said they popped into the world having like a headset, and they think that they came into this world having put on a headset. And so that's what they feel. That's what they think. And that concept that's like,
I get where you're coming from.
Anyway, but yeah, and that concept wouldn't be new. I think if people were like, what, they didn't even have headsets, that's crazy. It's like the concept wouldn't even be new, because that's literally Gummigoo's entire story. Is Gummigoo has the most complex backstory out of all of the characters, by the way. There's no character that has a more complex backstory than Gummigoo, I think. And Gummigoo's backstory is like, dude, I think Orbsman's going to be really important in episode 9. I don't know how, but I think he will be.
He was in the merch commercial. He had lines too. That's
yes,
crazy.
exactly. I think all of those NPCs that we know will come back and will be important, and we will see them as one of these characters. Like I think Gummigoo is one of the characters, or a combination of multiple characters. That's what I mean when I say that like all of these characters exist in different timelines or in different forms, depending on the timeline that they come from. And I think Gummigoo is actually like more belonging to the circus than someone like Jax, who you'll notice that Gummigoo has circus colors and Jax has Candy Kingdom colors. Same as Ragatha. Jax and Ragatha both have Candy Kingdom colors, and Gummigoo does not fit into the Candy Kingdom at all and has circus colors. It really starts to make you wonder. So anyway, what would we find in here if there is something in this bubble? I don't know, something to convey the fact that the circus is in bubble. So I don't know, maybe like a mini circus or something. That would be crazy. That would be cool. If we open this up and there's like a little miniature circus, then I would be like, that literally confirms that theory to me. So,
and if there's nothing, then whatever.
If there's nothing, then I was wrong. But honestly, the only reason why I thought to do this, by the way, I had never thought to do this. I'm gonna open up bubble. I feel so bad opening these because I haven't done this yet, because I'm like, I don't want to like ruin these plushes. They're so high quality. I also don't know like what I'm allowed to show on a stream. Dude, oh man, I feel so bad. I just ripped this bubble. I just made a little like all I did was make like a little tear, and I'm like, oh, bubble, I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
The only reason why I thought to do this, by the way, I never would have thought to do this, is because I saw somebody made a video where they opened up every single Deltarune plushie, and there was something in all of them. And I was like, oh no. Because I'm like, I think there is this relationship between Gooseworx and Deltarune and Toby Fox and Undertale. And, you know, Gooseworx loves Undertale, loved Deltarune. The Caine VA, Alex Roshan, was literally hired for his Spamton dubs. Really makes you think about Happy Place. And dude, we were talking about Caine's Requiem. That song may literally be in episode 9. That literally might be audio from episode 9. And that Mocha Games that you've seen that shows it is like what I'm envisioning for that scene in episode 9. I think we're going to get a scene in the movie theaters that looks that way. Now, obviously that is Mocha Games' version of it, but I think that song could literally be in the movie. Okay. Imagine with me, because you've listened to the song a lot, right? So, you know, when Caine does that thing, you can hear, you know that part in the song. We have heard something like that in the show before.
Oh yeah, no, it was when
it's in
Zooble mentioned sex.
I want the ability to have sex.
Yeah,
No
and what
way.
happened during that? What
Are
happened
we
to Caine? Do
finally
you remember
having
what
this
happened to him during that time?
conversation?
Yeah, no, he basically got factory resetted because he physically could not take what she said.
There, you see? I knew they'd make this weird.
But like think of his animation. Think of his
head was
animation, because you're
spinning.
right.
His head was spinning.
And it got more and more realistic, right?
It just went, Jesus, so fast.
I think what's going to happen in episode 9 is we are going to get an Omega Caine. If you've played Undertale, we're going to get an Omega Caine. And that moment where Caine is doing that thing in that song is to signify, because he transforms after that, right? He transforms into like the little toy. That moment is going to be a moment where he is going to turn into a gigantic, realistic looking mouth and teeth, which is similar to Happy Place. You know Happy Place?
Oh, of course I do. I actually am doing a cover of it, like with a couple of friends. So.
Yeah, and so you can imagine those gigantic eyes with the realistic looking teeth coming at Pomni in Happy Place.
Not to mention, those people also did the music video for Caine.
Dude, see, now you're starting to get it. You're starting to get it, dude. That's what I'm saying. You're making the connections. You're starting to be like, wait a second, but Happy Place came out multiple years ago. They couldn't have been in on it.
They got hired
Could
right
they?
after. They even said.
Do you know what else is in Happy
was a
Place?
Direct, like, actually, Happy Place's beat is used in Caine's official song in TADC.
Yep. And they do the piano animation and everything, right?
Yep.
You know what else is in Happy Place that we've talked about? Pop-ups.
Oh yeah,
There are pop-ups in Happy Place. Kinger is trapped in a pop-up, just like Caine's Requiem, where Kinger is trapped in a pop-up and has to go through the time whatever and comes out of it and is like, now all of a sudden is inside of the fort. So I think something is going to happen with the pop-ups. Basically, they're going to be trying to escape Caine's control, or it's going to be Caine, but I think it's going to be Bubble. I think it's going to be like Abel. I think Abel is going to like come back in Caine's body now, having taken over Caine, which is why Jax was upset at Kinger. And I think it's going to come back through Kinger. Anyway, dude, I'm like, I have so much to explain.
That I can have somebody to talk something like this about, because geez, at least somebody else is crazy. Thank goodness.
I want the ability to have sex.
No way. Are we finally having this conversation?
Dance! Yep, there, you see? I knew they'd make this weird.
Zooble.
Yeah,
Do you have
I
any
can't
of
do
that
this.
stupid sauce
Oh,
left?
wait, what?
What were we talking about? Oh, yeah!
You test my patience, no more pretend. Now your salvation has come to an end. You could have anything if you would just give up and love me. Your stupidity is past infinity, 'cause I am running this show.
We all learned a valuable lesson. I know you don't really hate my adventures. You love me. And I love you too. Welcome back! I can't believe you didn't pick up on the context clues. It was practically spelled out for you. What are you, stupid? Next one's gonna be even crazier. Hope you're ready.
Let's see, Bubble. Bubble, I'm so sorry.
I feel so bad. Oh, did you ever fact check the Deltarune stuff, by the way? Or did you just see the one video? Like fact check that there was
I mean, I saw the video.
actually
I haven't.
something.
No, I haven't opened plushes up myself. I actually have never played Deltarune, but so all of these
I've never played
connections
it either.
are, all of these connections are there. Oh, sorry, Bubble. Well,
Oh, I feel so bad. He
I
kinda looks like
know.
he has
I
some
hate it because
hair.
it's such high quality. Let's see if Bubble, do you have anything? I'm
Don't
gonna be
think that
looking through all the
Bubble has
fuzz.
anything in here.
Might not. We could be crazy. If we're crazy, then we're crazy. That's fine.
If Bubble has something,
Dude, it would make me want to. It would
I
make
would-
me want to double down, though. It would make me be like, no, we gotta like open a different one, like Jax or something. But I don't
Yeah,
see
no.
anything so far. Just see a bunch of fuzz.
If there's anything with it, if there's anything inside the Bubble plush, I will personally buy my own and cut it open just to fact check that he didn't put anything in there, because I know
Yeah,
he didn't, but
I'm like
people are
seeding
gonna
the
say
Bubble
it.
plush.
People are gonna say, "Oh, he put that in there," so You know, I
Let's
don't
see.
know. I highly doubt that there's anything inside a bubble though, because
So far I'm not feeling anything in this plush. So I will say that. But there is like Bubble's mouth is a thing. So like there might be something on it. I don't know. Like this
Imagine
could
if there's,
just
like, a
be
symbol or
insane
something on the
copium,
mouth.
which would be fine. That's like I'm fine with that. I'm fine being wrong about that.
Yeah, the last point I have is on the snowboard, which was mentioned at the very beginning of your video. Which I honestly is probably the only point I really disagree on you guys with, because as a 3D artist and animator myself, I think I could probably explain it with why
The
you guys
snowboard.
are...
What about it?
Well, on one of them, you're seeing RIBBIT, which I do actually see that. I see that, which is cool. But then there's others which are saying, oh, these are words or these are phrases or something. I think as a 3D artist, in my opinion, those are honestly just textures, and what you're experiencing is I don't even remember how to pronounce it. I think it's paranolia, parafolia. I don't know. I'll put a Google.
Yeah. Okay.
Paradolia? I don't know. I'll put in a translate, a Google Translate right now, just so I can get the word right. It basically means that you're just seeing something out of nothing because you want to see something.
Yep. Yeah, and I understand that. I can get that, and I think a lot of people think that. And I think those people will be proven wrong eventually. But for today, I don't see anything special in this bubble.
No, there's just a piece of plastic.
There's just a piece of plastic. However, if we've already torn apart the bubble, then we may as well do it right?
Yeah.
Because there's actually 3 parts to this bubble, if you really think about it.
Hey, you could at
There's
least
the
stuff the
tongue,
bubble
this.
and use...
I'm like wondering if there's something. I don't think they would put anything on a magnet, but again,
They might.
if we're gonna be insane, we may as well be fully insane. And like, who knows? Maybe there's something like so small in this fluff that I didn't see, but I doubt it. I feel like I would have.
If you go back and you
would've
find
noticed
something
it.
in the fluff afterwards, you better message me, because...
Yeah, and then you'll be like, wait, he put it there for real. You'll have to actually check.
I'll
You'll
have to actually
because you're like, I didn't see it.
check it, and then because everybody on my comments will be like, "Oh, he just put that there. Don't believe him. He's a crazy guy with crazy ideas that he just wants you to believe." And I'll just be like, "Okay, I'm just gonna buy my own bubble plush, and we're just gonna see."
So there's like, let's see. We're leaving no stone unturned, no bubble unopened.
No bubble unpopped.
This is a magnet. It's a magnet. It has a line on it. Ooh, the line! Oh, it's a bubble line theory. No. So I think we've confirmed that there's nothing in the body of the bubble. Sorry for all you bubble fans out there.
Should have done.
I'm
Caine.
sorry, Bubble.
No, I'm kidding.
I didn't want to do. Actually, I'm really curious about Kinger, to be honest, because they're always like, Kinger's pregnant. I'm like, huh. They say that a lot in the commercials, almost as if like they're trying to get at something, right?
Do we
Man,
need
see, I
do
don't
we
even
need
want
do
to
a
open this. I
C-section?
don't want to ruin these. I'm like, I have to do it. If I'm gonna be thorough, I have to be thorough.
We need to do a
'Cause this is
Kinger
technically-
C-section.
And this is like, dude, I think I would double down because we didn't find anything. I'd be like, you know what? I would do one more because I do plan on eventually opening all of these at some point.
I will probably at least open Caine whenever I get him.
Okay, so this is just a magnet on the back, and I'm like, I could open the whole back, but I'm like, at this point, I think I'm pretty convinced that there's nothing going on in here. Watch like the one glitch marketer that is like watching me, you know, that it's that like the pickaxe and the diamonds, and I'm like right at the diamonds, like there's in the corner of this, the one marketer's like, no, open it, dude, open. Bubble is probably nothing. Which let's use this as a lesson about theories. Not all of my theories are going to be right. It's okay to like waste time. In this case, like hopefully nobody else now has to waste money opening a bubble, right? Like that's like the good thing, is that as far as the bubble plushes, and I'm looking through this just to make sure I didn't like sift through something on accident.
Look, I mean, if we're
Sometimes-
wasting our times, then, you know, if we're wasting our time, at least we're having fun wasting our time.
Yeah, I have had a lot of fun wasting times on theories that I realized were dead ends. Like they made no sense. And you just have to do it. If you're theory crafting, you have to be willing to just explore and do something that nobody's ever done before and find nothing. Like you have to be able to do it. You have to be willing to waste the time. A lot of my theories that went nowhere, somebody will say something and be like, hey, Danny, did you think about this? And then I'm like, whoa, no, I didn't. But that connects to this other thing, that it connects to this other thing, that connects to this other thing. I've spent like 3 hours one day trying to figure out the Wacky Watch phone number. I've called like 50 numbers, and I've never said that publicly before because it's like it didn't go anywhere. Nothing happened. But I called a bunch of numbers, looked at wingdings, and then looked at wingdings as it differs between 1995 and 1996 and 2001. And then I looked at like, oh, well, what if you convert these numbers or you apply this or you do that? Like I did a ton of stuff and it went nowhere. And so I'm like, okay, I didn't figure it out. Maybe it's not even real. Maybe it's literally just a joke.
What was
but
the
if something happens,
I don't remember.
there's in the pilot episode, they do like a little commercial thing where when Caine says like, Bubble, you always know how to make me say this exact line. You know, that when they're eating dinner together. And I spent like 3 hours trying to decode that and just couldn't. But in the future, there might be something that someone realizes that like, they're like, hey, did you try this cipher on the number? And then all of a sudden, all of that like 3 hours worth of work is completely useful in some future, or it just never goes like, no, it was fake. It was just a joke. It was just a joke, bro. And that's totally fine. You know, the fact that we didn't find anything in Bubble might feel like a failure and might be like, oh, dude, that like proves this guy's crazy. Not necessarily, because we learned something.
As theorists,
Nobody
we're
else
always
now
gonna
has to
learn
open a
about
bubble.
something.
Nobody else has to spend money opening a Bubble plush. But you know what else we can do?
If I didn't know any better, it seems like you're trying.
Kinger!
Kinger!
Where's Kinger?
Kinda C-section.
I was only gonna open Bubble, but you didn't produce enough for me. So now you're going down with him. Why are you so pregnant, Kinger? I don't feel anything in there. That's the thing, is like I don't feel anything. Should we do it? One more for the road.
One more for the road.
If there's nothing in here, it will make me seriously doubt opening any more of them. I was like pretty confident that every single one of them had something. Now I know the Bubble doesn't. But if I'm trying to think of the next most likely, like the commercials themselves talk about, oh, he looks pregnant. He looks pregnant. So it makes me wonder, right? Like that's why I chose him next. Honestly, I would choose Jax if I like had to choose one.
Yeah.
Because of like Jax's head being split open and all the imagery. But the fact that the commercials themselves say that Kinger looks pregnant makes me wonder.
I think while we're doing this, I'm going to bring up one last topic for the road. In the... Oh, goodness. poor guy.
Rip Kinger.
In the Caine's Requiem actual commercial for the merch, it's funny how Glitch, yes, it's always done, you know, through mostly adventure stuff, but also how clearly, after Kinger goes into, like, you know, the commercial and everything, it's very funny how there's still multiple Kingers and multiple Pomnis.
Yes.
Multiple Jaxes. There's all of them. It's not even just NPCs or like they're just kind of toys. No. They all talk. So, I mean,
yeah.
what you think?
So this is like the Kinger thing that I'm thinking about. I think Kinger's mind is made up of like potentially 5 or 6 people. I think Kinger's mind somehow, like Kinger accesses different people depending on when we see him. And I think the times where we see him in the dark, it's Queenie's mind.
There's a clear reason on why he went crazy, and we never really get that explained. Not yet.
That's why I'm actually curious about Kinger as well, as like an actual, besides the like pregnant thing, is because I'm like, I don't know if there's going to be something weird with Kinger's mind. Again, could be nothing, right? In which case I would probably stop opening the plushes for a while until something like proves to me that there might be something more
definitive comes out. He goes on TikTok, he sees one video, and he's like, I gotta open up Pomni!
Okay, we're opening the Kinger plush. So far, I don't see anything in the fuzz.
Tag on the inside
We're
has the actual,
defluffing him.
actual Wacky Watch number.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Okay, we're gonna reach into Kinger's mind. We also have to open up his eyeballs, by the way. Like, again, if we're doing this right, we're doing it right.
We're doing it all the way.
We're doing it all the way if we're doing it at all. And
After
these
I
will...
get this done, man. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go back to the Wacky Watch number. I'm gonna try to figure it out.
You know what? I didn't look at that. You know what? Honestly, I'm more convinced now that the Wacky Watch number might be real, but that like it's real with codes that we don't fully understand yet. There's like weird ciphers. I realize that the level of complexity of the ciphers in this show is like way higher than I understand, which is again why when everyone realizes how deep the show is, I'll need help. People have a lot of knowledge from a lot of different things that I don't understand.
Ask Gravity Falls fans. Seriously, I keep coming back to Gravity Falls, but ask Gravity Falls fans. They have so much. They came together and found a real-life statue with actual real-life coordinates inside of the woods. So, I mean, anything's possible with any fan base. Well, maybe except for the Has-Been fan base. I'm just saying, I mean, like, I've been a part of the Has-Been fan base. They're not The brightest bunch.
I feel like there's a lot of crossover between all of these fandoms, to be honest. Okay, so we opened up the main body of Kinger, including the head, and there's nothing there. Oh, Toby needs to go out. Okay, wait 1 minute. Okay, buddy? I'll be right there.
Dog's adorable.
jeez. I know, he's so cute. All right, the eyes are important. Okay, well, actually, you know what? The crown is important too. So we're gonna. Sorry, Kinger.
You're just hurting our boy now. You just want to torture him.
I just want to. I mean, he's gonna do a lot of stuff in episode 9 that is gonna make people wonder who Kinger is. So I'll say that much.
You make me want to go watch the leak like fully, just so I can confidently say, is this real? Yes or no? Because.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I think we will be able to watch it at some point, which is why I'm like able to just stay patient and wait, because it's, you know, at this point it's like 5 days.
Yeah.
Well,
actually,
okay,
no,
I don't
it's
see anything.
4 days now.
4 days, jeez. I don't see anything. Okay, we've got the gloves and the eyes left. Although there's no way there's something in here. Oh my god, I hate this. I hate how much I have to tear him apart. I'm sorry, Kinger.
If there's
He's my baby boy.
in his hands, it's gonna be something to do with Caine, or it's gonna be a computer. I don't know. Oh my god!
Ah! Dude, there was way more fluff in there than I thought there would be.
Yeah, no, fluff is just
but
so
it is all
compact,
fluff.
So.
It is all fluff. Okay,
Yeah,
Kinger, I'm
now
sorry. Kinger fans, I'm sorry.
Now I know why you asked if you could even, if you didn't even know if you could show this on stream. Now I know, it's so graphic.
It is, and it looks like that one scene of Ragatha getting like shot, her head shot open. I was like, dude, that was so graphic when they do that.
That
It was so
sick,
cool, and I was
that
like,
so sick.
that was really, really graphic.
For that
Okay,
show,
so
yeah,
eyes.
graphic.
At this point, I'm like, there's nothing, right? Like at this point, I'm also not thinking like, oh my god, there's something in the eye. I'm thinking like, yeah, there's probably nothing in here.
All I'm thinking is, poor Kinger.
But we gotta
boy.
be thorough, and eyes are very important in this show. Wait, what is this? Oh, that's his eye. I was like, what?
What?
Okay, we're opening the fluff. Fluff, 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 all fluff, all fluff. Nothing. But what is Kinger holding in his hands? Last two.
All right, guys, time to check him for schizophrenia. Look at this ink blot.
You guys can think whatever you want. You only got 3 more days till you see. So, it's all good. It's all good.
It'll be like 2 days, but probably by the time I post this video. So.
Oh, sure, yeah. Great. Even better. One hand.
Oh god.
All fluff. All fluff. But we got to check the last one. Dude, how crazy would it be actually if like it was in none of them except for the last one? That would be crazy.
That'd
but
be
I don't
insane,
expect it to
but
happen.
I'm not
I don't
expecting
expect it to
anything.
happen. There's nothing.
All right.
Don't open up your Kinger plushes or your bubble plushes.
All
The
right,
other
TADC
plushes,
fans.
we
No,
got
no.
we got to think about.
If
We
you
gotta
open
think
up
about,
any
but
of your
I-
plushes, it's not our faults. We're not reimbursing you.
Rest in peace, Kinger. Oh jeez.
Oh my god, that's a thumbnail shot if I've ever seen it. Yeah,
He shredded me.
yeah, it's a thumbnail shot right there. Perfect.
Kinger.
Honestly, you've talked more in this entire interview than I have. So I'm just gonna send this over to you. This is your video now. Because I was thinking about it. People are gonna call me lazy.
I mean, I would post it, but
No,
if
I mean,
you,
I'm gonna
like,
post
you're the one
it.
that won.
But people are gonna call me lazy. They're gonna say, you just let him talk for like 30 to 40 minutes. You didn't even really do much.
Dude, I don't. First off, like, why do those people care? And second, that's actually like the sign of a good interviewer. I think a good interviewer is supposed to let the interviewee speak. If you were asking me for an interview, your job is to mostly listen and ask good questions, I think. So I think that's the sign of a good interviewer, not a bad one.
Tell that to Ellen.
You tell that to Ellen. If they try to give you shit for it, be like, sorry, I'm doing my job as an interviewer. And that's it. You don't have to listen to them. You know what I mean? You can have more confidence in yourself and your abilities as an interviewer, because I think you did a really good job in making sure that I was able to like speak my thoughts, and then you gave your own thoughts, and even some thoughts that were contradicting to mine. That's fine. That's all interviewing and like journalism in general. So I think you did a great job.
Technically, I've only interviewed 2 people. You're one of them. The other person was a long time ago, like probably a year ago. It was Babington. I would interview more people about their opinions, but I get a lot of the, oh, I don't agree with you, and then I tell them, oh, I don't really think that that's what happens, and then they yell at me, or they like say, well, you're just stupid. I don't know.
Which sucks, but also that's part of it. If you're confident in what you're saying, then if they yell at you, it like gives the audience information. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It like might prove that that person actually is, kind of like a jerk or an asshole or whatever it is. I'm still like looking through this thing, by the way. So I'm like, no stone unturned. Poor Kinger. They got Kinger. They got Kinger.
Hey there, Cypher VA. Thanks for reaching out and for talking with me.
I know you all think I'm a little crazy, but aren't we all? Now, if you want to hear this unk give some life advice, then stick around. And remember, Northpack, if you stay wild, you stay free. Adios. Kind of like a life lesson for anyone, okay? But especially people trying to create content, because it's super important for content creators to like learn this lesson. I realize that people will argue about anything, even if they are 100% wrong. They will argue about anything. And I learned this lesson when I made my terminal video. And so I made this terminal video where I said, hey, I'm explaining what's in the terminal because I'm a programmer. I know exactly what it says. And it's actually way more realistic than you would think. It's actually very, very realistic. And so here's everything it's saying. And I think I got like one thing wrong, right? I explained the whole thing and explained why I believe Caine will be coming back in episode 9 because of the things that were in the terminal. Like Caine wasn't fully gone. He will come back in episode 9. And people were like, that assumes way too much to be true. No, dude, like, this other person told me that that's not true, and so I don't believe it. And I was like shocked because I thought, I'm literally just explaining what I'm reading. Like, this isn't even a theory. It's not even a theory. I'm just telling you what the terminal says. It's like text in Chinese, and I'm translating the text in Chinese, and you're saying, my friend doesn't agree with that. And I'm like, does your friend speak Chinese? And they're like, nah, they speak Spanish. And I'm like, okay, then who are you going to listen to? The dude that speaks Chinese or your friend that speaks Spanish? You know what I mean?
Get your Google Translate having ass out of here. I don't care.
And so they're like, I don't believe that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. He's going to come back in episode 9 based off of the things that are in the terminal. But like, if you don't want to believe it, that's fine. And it like gave me this gift, right? And especially because I think there was one thing, like, like just because I've used the terminal every day for 10 years doesn't mean I have memorized every single command of the terminal. And so I got one thing wrong where I said the block, I thought it meant like the number of people or something. And then someone proved that it was actually like the block of data, something like that. And I looked it up later and I was like, oh yeah, that was wrong. And so in that comment, they were like, well, you were totally wrong about this. And I said, yeah, you're right. I was wrong about that. Like, thanks for calling that out. I was right about everything else though, right? And then like my comment got like downvoted because they're like, oh, okay, so you can't admit he's wrong. And it's like, no, yeah. Or it's like, it looks weak to admit you're wrong or something, right? Like this, like people are going to see this video and be like, see, he was wrong about the plushies. He must be wrong about everything else. And I'm like, that's fine. You can believe that. Luckily, I don't have to wait too long to be proven correct. So I was wrong about these plushies. I will admit that. I don't see anything in any of them. So like I can admit when I'm wrong, I was wrong about the plushies. And we learned a valuable lesson that you don't have to open these up. There might be one of these plushies that might have something, but I don't know. Like now I'm in a point where I'm like, you know what? Maybe none of them do. None of them do. And that's okay. Like that was part of my hypothesis. We tested it out and it didn't work. And that's fine. So we move on to something new and we don't give up. We stay resilient.
I just got something to say to the viewers at home. If you are wanting to be a theorist or you want to be an interviewist, whatever you want to do, animator, I don't care what you want to do. Honestly, I've been watching this guy for a while. I've been watching him, and I emailed him to do this video, and I originally thought he was going to email me back and say, fuck off, I got better things to do. He didn't do that. The thing is, you don't have to have somebody else who's bigger than you to help you get where you are, to get like somewhere higher up the ladder. But if you see somebody and they're willing to help you or they want to help you with a video, let them help you. Like, you don't have to do this solo. I've been doing this solo for like over 10 years. Don't do it solo. Please don't do it solo. It's scary and it's very mind-numbing in my personal opinion. So get at working on your YouTube channel or Instagram Reels. I don't care what you do.
I'm always happy to help out the community of people that love the things that I love. If I have time, if I have the ability to, I love helping people out. When they have a passion and they want to share that passion, then I will do what I can to make that happen.